Welcome back, dear friends, to Taslima My Art. I'm Taz. Join me for this wet and wild collab hosted by the amazing Casey from CWV Artistry. In this step-by-step resin art tutorial for beginners, I'm going to be walking on the wild side, crafting an African Fat-Tailed Gecko using Let's Resin UV resin, real dried flowers, chameleon flakes and Resiners tools. I hope you enjoy it. A big thank you to all my Patreon members, viewers and subscribers. And don't forget, if you like the products you see in this video, you can get a 10% discount from Let's Resin using the code TAZRESIN10. Hi everyone, and I can't wait to get this party started. So today we're going to be doing Wet and Wild Wednesdays, and it's the first one run by the lovely Casey from CWV Artistry, my dear friend, and I've got some goodies here I want to try out. We are going to be doing one of these. So this is a silicone mould of what appears to be an African fat-tailed gecko, which comes in many different varieties and beautiful colours. They're a lizard, and lizards are reptiles with over 6,000 species found across the world except Antarctica. They tend to greatly vary in shape and size, and common types include things like this gecko or iguanas and chameleons, and they're typically insectivores or omnivores. And I've had this mould for almost 2.5 years. It's one of the first moulds I bought. I bought it from Temu if I remember correctly, and I'm going to actually start with putting his eyes in. These eyes are from Amazon. I picked out two that I quite like, and I'm going to use my Let's Resin UV resin. Ta-da! I'm going to use this UV resin to glue in my eyes into the little pockets there in the silicone mold. Okay, and then after that we are going to be using dried flowers today. These are beautiful, stunning dried flowers from, I think they were from Temu. Yep, I think they were, yes. So I'm going to be using these dried flowers as part of this make, and I'm looking forward to getting started. Let's go. So how are you all doing today? I hope you're having a fabulous day. It's gloriously sunny here in Wales in the UK, so I'm happy to be back in my art studio after a lot of rain, and I'm just applying my UV resin into the mould there, and I'm going to try and pop those eyes in. I do hope I get them in the right place. It's quite tricky really to see inside some of the smaller moulds, but you have to be really careful and try and get them in the right position. Otherwise you can end up with a very cockeyed gecko, which will be interesting and funny, but not what you want really. And I'm using my UV torch there just to get it to harden up and stay in position. And I use it on both sides of my mould because my mould is translucent. Oops, I've just realised that the eyes are not quite aligned, but it's too late really to do anything about that. I don't really want to pull it out, so I'm just going to hope for the best. Might be a little lump by there, but we'll see. So next I'm going to choose my flowers that I'm going to be using. Very carefully dealing with these dried flowers. They're incredibly delicate and they can break very easily. You don't want to break them obviously, so we're going to choose some different things we want to include. I quite like that. Maybe a smaller one actually, because he's quite small, isn't he? And whoa, look at these lovely ones. And some of the purple. I like that. And we could just cut things up with a pair of scissors as well. So I can maybe just pull them all out and pop them back in when I'm ready. I quite enjoy making my own colour palette of flowers. I'm not a florist in any way, but it's really enjoyable trying to put colour schemes together, isn't it? But we don't want to overdo it either. And with dried flowers we have to be ever so gentle because they're so fragile, aren't they? And also maybe something from in here. I quite like the orange ones and the yellow ones in here. They're very vibrant, aren't they? Beautiful. I did really take my time with this bit. I really enjoyed doing it, and I sped up the video so you're not waiting too long. I love how all these colours go so well together. It's so very pretty. I can't wait to put them in. Next I'm going to use my lime chameleon flakes from Let's Resin, and I'm going to use that to basically line the feet and the hands. So we have this gorgeous colour some of those flakes in those parts of his body. I'm going to mix in another colour of chameleon flake from Let's Resin. That's grass green crimson, and here it is. So we're going to use a little paintbrush just to dab that into the tail, and I'm just putting it into some of the ridges and skipping a ridge, so you can see that his tail has got lots of different ridges. It's quite fat, so that's why it's called the African Fat-Tailed Gecko, but I'm just popping that into the ridges. Now I think later on I regret it a little bit because the flowers become a little bit occluded because of this part, but to be honest, it still looks great. So I'm going to pop a little bit of it into his mouth area and some spots across his back as well, as you can see. So my mould is now ready to have all of the dried flowers put in. So I'm going to very gently assemble my flowers inside the mould before I put any resin in. And I quickly realised I have to secure them in case they float up, and I will do that with my Let's Resin UV resin. I'm just cutting the stem there to shape it so it goes inside the body of the gecko. So I'm going to be busy assembling all my flowers in. I'm having lots of fun. This is really exciting and I can't wait to see what the end results will look like, and also learning along the way as well about what goes right and what goes wrong. So I'm going to leave you with some music, and in the meantime I'll be using my UV resin and UV torch just to keep each of those flowers in place and make sure they're cured in there with little drops of UV resin.
Shitty car, but we hit the road. Doesn't matter where we go and destination unknown. I don't care where the motor stops, cause when I want it, then I want it. Yeah, I want it, oh I want it, let's go. Look around, where's the people at? I want a taste of the good life.
So I'm very pleased that I've managed to put all my flowers in and secure them as best as I can with UV resin droplets that have been cured, and I'm going to mix up my resin using my Resiners machines. Now this was the day after and it was very cold, so I had a lot of bubbles in my resin and I was in a rush, so I didn't put it into my airless today. I used my Resiners heat gun to pop many of those bubbles. Now the reason for so many bubbles was not just the mixing, it was basically because the resin was cold, and if I'd warmed it up in a warm water bath it would have been a lot better, but I didn't mind them so much. I wanted to pour in and get on with my day, and I knew if I left it in a curing machine the heat would pop a lot of the bubbles as well. So I'm going to pour it in now. I'm just ready to pour it over my dried flowers, and I'm tapping it to make sure it gets to the bottom and into all the different crevices. And once this part is done, I'll pop it into my cure from Resiners and let it cure for a couple of hours. So a quick tip for beginners: when you're filling up your moulds, fill it up halfway, tap it down a couple of times to get rid of any air bubbles at the bottom, and add the rest of your resin in to top it up. Now I'm just giving a quick little squeeze around the head where sometimes air bubbles can get trapped, and around the tail. I'm going to finish topping him up after I've used the heat gun to pop any surface bubbles as well. And this is the Resiners heat gun, it's really useful. And finally I pop it into my curing machine from Resiners. Hi everyone, so it's the next day, it's been 24 hours and it's been in the Resiners Cure machine, so it's actually probably been ready after about 3 hours in there. But I'm going to demold it. Look at this, doesn't it look fabulous with the foil on the back there? Really nice and reflective, and I wonder what it's going to look like. I hope there's no huge air pockets inside. I can see his eyes there, and I hope they're not wonky, but let's have a look and see what this wonderful creature looks like. So, time to demold. It's got a lovely tail, hasn't it? Oh, okay. Let's try and get the mould off his feet. They are quite small and delicate. And I have a tendency of over pouring sometimes. But I think this one's okay. If I can just, yep, I can. Just release it. It's harder than it looks sometimes. Ooh, that's worked. Get the tail all kind of detached. This bit here. Right, I'm going to just take the tail off first and do it that way around. I think that will be easier. So we just try and do it from the back end to the front. I can get his nose over then. Need to look at what I'm doing. One off his hands. This is a tricky bit here around his neck. Oh, got it off. Yay! So let's look at this. So time for the grand reveal. 1, 2, 3. Oh my god, the eyes! There we go. Look at that. And I can see all the flowers and the mica pigments as well. So you can see that his hands have got mica pigments on them. I need to tidy this one up a little bit. There's a bit of excess on it and stuff, but I'll sort that out later. And his tail, I've got the mica pigments where I brushed it on. But you can see the lovely flowers in his belly. You can see the purple one there, some of the orange ones across here. I did put some spots on his back with mica pigments as well. And there's a slight, ooh, there's a slight hole here. Look at that. I'm going to have to fill that in with some UV resin. So you can go all the way through to the flowers there. Isn't that strange? So that must have been a huge air bubble that was trapped underneath the flowers. But I'm sure there's a better way of doing this. Maybe pouring in the resin first and then embedding the flowers into it. I should have done that, but you live and learn. I'm still learning. And I really like him. He's really cute. And I think I've learnt a lot as well making him. His eyes are interesting. I'm going to add some lines around his mouth here. And you can see that his eyes were actually meant to be down here. And I needed smaller ones and they're kind of a bit too close together. But isn't he cute? He looks funny. And I like the fact that there's a combination of mica on the mould there and the flowers as well. That's so cool. I'm having fun. So I like the dried flowers look. I'm going to try that again. Next time I'm going to not put the mica powders in so you can see it clearer, I think. But this was just an experiment and a good one and a fun one. So I enjoyed myself. Let me know what you think in the comments below. What do you think of my little guy? So I've got all the glamour shots coming up for you in a moment. So do take a look to the end of the video and see what you think. See you later. So to fix the glaring problem of his eyes being misplaced and on top of his head instead of on the sides, I decided to take my Let's Resin gold metallic markers and put some gold lines across the top of his head where his eyes are. And I coloured that part in so you couldn't see the original eyes. And I painted some new eyes on using acrylic markers from Grey Bee in black and white. And put the rest of the gold ridges across the entire of his body down to his tail tip. And I really like him now. What do you guys think? Did I manage to save him? Those eyes nearly killed him off, but I think they're a lot better now. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video and whether or not you think he's cute, I do. Look at him, he's lovely. And thank you for watching this video. Do check out everybody else in the Wet and Wild Wednesday collaboration. The playlist is down in my description and my comments. So do support all the other artists on this wonderful collaboration. Bye for now.
Hey darling, can I tell you what's been on my mind? Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city life. Darling, we could get out of town, see the beautiful world around, wanna see it now. Pack our bags and get in that car, leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave
Oh, and don't forget, every Saturday at 5 p.m. EST, 10 p.m. UK, I have a collaboration called a Creative Art Collective. So do join us for some great art and some fun in the live chat.